In a brightly lit studio at the National Policy Forum, two women sat across from each other, their contrasting styles evident. Pam Bondi, Florida's former Attorney General and a staunch conservative, wore a sharp red blazer, her posture impeccable. Opposite her, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas's 30th District leaned forward, her expression steady yet resolute. The air crackled with tension. What began as a policy debate on voting rights had, over the past 20 minutes, escalated into fiery exchanges, leaving host Robert Donovan, a seasoned journalist, struggling to steer the conversation. Then, an unexpected moment shifted everything. Crockett reached into her portfolio and pulled out a creased document. "Ms. Bondi, before you go on, please look at this," she said, sliding across the table. The camera zoomed in as Bondi's confident demeanor gave way to curiosity. The document, dated March 17, 2018, bore the seal of Bondi's former office. The studio fell silent, described later by a production assistant as so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Bondi read, her expression morphing from skepticism to shock. After 30 seconds, an eternity on live television, she looked up, blinking rapidly. "Congresswoman," she said softly, "I've never seen this report." She paused, grappling with her words. "If this is accurate, I need to rethink my stance." The control room buzzed with disbelief. Such a moment was unheard of in polarized political TV, especially between figures as ideologically opposed as Bondi and Crockett. What followed was even more striking. Bondi removed her earpiece, cutting off her advisors, and said, "Let's have a real conversation." When the show returned from an abrupt commercial break, viewers witnessed a transformative dialogue that reshaped the national conversation on voting rights and political discourse. Before we reveal the document's contents and the outcome of this unprecedented exchange, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Our channel highlights pivotal moments in politics that mainstream media often overlooks, moments that show democracy is more than endless conflict. The episode had been hyped for weeks. Political opposites face off. Bondi versus Crockett on America's future. Bondi, Attorney General from 2011 to 2019, was a polished conservative commentator and founder of the Constitutional Integrity Project, focused on election law. Crockett, a civil rights attorney elected to Congress in 2022, was a progressive star known for her legal expertise and advocacy for underserved communities. Their clash on voting rights, Bondi for stricter ID laws and limited early voting, Crockett for expanded access, promised to mirror America's deep divides. Donovan, with his decades of experience, anticipated a tough moderation challenge. Unbeknownst to viewers, both women carried personal experiences that nuanced their public stances. Bondi's elderly father, a Republican veteran, had struggled to vote due to ID confusion, privately challenging her views. Crockett, frustrated by media debates devolving into theater, questioned their value for voters facing real-world issues. The debate began predictably, with polished opening statements. Bondi stressed election integrity. Crockett cited voter fraud's rarity and restrictive laws' impact. Social media noted their depth. Unlike typical talking point battles, they engaged directly. 20 minutes in, Donovan pivoted to federal voting legislation. Crockett started her response but paused, her expression shifting as she reached for the document. "Ms. Bondi, this is from your office," she said, presenting the 2018 report analyzing Florida's voter ID law challenges. Bondi's face tightened as she read. Crockett pointed to a section noting 27,000 eligible voters, mostly elderly, rural, or low-income, face significant obstacles. A case study detailed a 78-year-old veteran's struggle to obtain compliant ID. Bondi's reaction was genuine, not performative. After a long silence, she admitted, "I've never seen this. If it's accurate, I need to reconsider." Removing her earpiece, she proposed a real discussion. Post-break, the studio's energy had shifted. Bondi acknowledged the report's findings, questioning why it never reached her. Crockett suggested they often work from different data, proposing common ground on voter access and security. For 15 minutes, they discussed real-world cases, voters turned away, fraud attempts caught, finding agreement on early voting, modernize registration, and curbing poll watcher intimidation. Bondi shared her father's voting struggle, and Crockett outlined a system balancing access and security. Their exchange wasn't perfect agreement, but a framework rooted in shared goals. Donovan, sensing history, asked how the conversation changed their views. Bondi admitted implementation gaps, like her father's experience, demanded attention. Crockett valued Bondi's security concerns, advocating for systems serving both values. They proposed a bipartisan working group on voting system best practices, focusing on practical solutions. The segment ended with a handshake, reflecting mutual respect. Clips went viral, viewed 12 million times in 24 hours. The hashtag Real Conversation trended as viewers expressed relief at substantive dialogue. Bondi and Crockett's working group, announced days later, included diverse experts and produced practical recommendations 6 months later, endorsed across the spectrum. Their exchange sparked media experiments with less combative formats, meeting public demand for substance. A year later, on the same show, both women reflected. Bondi on the power of listening without abandoning principles. Crockett on progress through shared solutions. Their dialogue didn't resolve all voting rights debates, but showed progress possible through honest engagement. It challenged a media landscape thriving on division, proving Americans crave substance over spectacle. Share your thoughts below. Can political TV foster real dialogue, or is this a rare exception? Subscribe for more stories of authentic political moments.